Good morning, welcome to day, I think 4 of about, 8 or 10 videos that I'm shooting on happiness. And what I want to do today is talk about a cognitive afterimage. I mean, there's this weird thing that happens in our brains. If you focus on something enough, what it will leave is almost like a residual image on the back of your brain. It's almost like taking a picture with old cameras with a negative where there's a flash and it leaves an image on the back of the film. In the same way your brain does this. I'm going to give you an example of how this works for all of us. Have you ever had a situation where you've been learning a new language, you've been learning, maybe you're at work, you're learning a new a skill or ability, whatever that is, and you start dreaming about it and you start thinking about it at other times? This has happened to me a number of times. Every time I learn a new language, I will start practicing that language in my sleep at times. I'll dream about it. I will all of a sudden think about something in the day and think about it in the other language. Or this is a really good example. When I went back to school, I went to university and I bought a laptop. It was an old laptop. It was like the first laptop ever built, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I took it out to the school and I wanted to take it to my classes because I was terrible at writing, at printing out or handwriting notes. I wasn't fast enough. So I learned to use the computer. Well, I quickly realized that when I was writing things out in class and writing things out in the dorm and writing things out in other places to get things done, I started thinking about the keys. And people would be talking to me, and in my response, as I was talking, I'd be printing things, I'd be typing things out on the keyboard. What our brains do is they get to focus on something, and when they focus on something, they tend to influence us, and it leaves kind of an afterimage. It's this place where we think about that same thing over and over and over again. It influences us. Now, where am I going with this? Well, marketers use this to their advantage. Marketers will use this to influence you, so that if they play their ads enough times or they get you involved in thinking about what they're doing enough times, you start thinking about that unconsciously in different ways. What does this have to do with happiness? Well, first of all, there are people you know that have practiced happiness and joy, and they are joyful almost every day. There are also people you know who have practiced, I'm trying not to call these people names here, they've practiced not being joyful. I've got a few people in my life that are miserable human beings. They're family members, extended family members, and they're good people, they're good human beings, but they're miserable because they've practiced misery. And because they think about all the awful things that are happening every day, that leaves an afterimage, so that they keep thinking about all the awful things that happen every day. And they start assuming things. It's confirmation bias. They start assuming that things are going to be awful tomorrow. Do you have people in your life that assume they're going to be unlucky, that assume something bad is going to happen, that assume someone is going to yell or scream or there's going to be conflict or whatever? This is taught. This is simply a pattern in their brains. And it gets stuck in kind of a loop. So I'm going to give you a way to get out of this morning. It's a very, very simple exercise. If you do this on a consistent basis, you will get out of this loop. And you will start creating new loops in your mind where you start to see the advantages of things. And how does this help in business? How does this help in life? Well, legitimately, if you are looking for what is good, if you're assuming people are going to give you something wonderful, if you're assuming that people are kind and generous, what you will start to do is interact with them differently. You will start to interact with your business, with your day differently. You will expect better things. And because of that, you are more likely to engage in things and have better things happen to you because you're engaging with it in a different way. It affects our perspective. Instead of pushing people away like those miserable people that only think about how everything is awful all the time, instead you'll be thinking about things. If you train your brain to think about the advantages, think about the good things, think about things that you're thankful for, think about things that will help your business. If you train your mind to think about that, you get into a loop where you create better things in life. Here's the exercise. Very simple. At the end of every day, all you need to do, have a journal or a piece of paper and a pencil or pen beside your bed. And I want you to do is, before you go to bed, think about, what are 3 things that were wonderful about today? Or what are 3 things that I did really well today? Or what are 3 things that I'm grateful for today? Or what are 3 things that brought me joy? If you think about joy, if you think about happiness, you will end up being a happier person. If you think about misery, you'll end up being fairly miserable. So how can you apply this in your life? Pick a 3-question exercise or 3 answers to different questions that fit you. Personally, if you want to work on joy, pick 3 things that you found joyful. 3 things that brought you joy that day. And what you'll start to do is start to find far more. It'll leave that after image, that cognitive after image. You'll start seeing those things the next day and the day after, and it'll bring you far more delight and purpose in your day and your week. Enjoy this day.